Different's great, but being different for the sake of being different, I'm not a big fan of, right? If you just want to be different for the sake
technology
of it.
But I would hide behind it.
And you start to hear some of their challenges, and yes.
Because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives you. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Master Connector Show. I'm Rob Genovese, and we're coming at you live every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, bringing you great content, amazing guests from all over the country to help you up-level, to help you raise your game, to help you overcome. You get to learn from other people's experience, skill sets, anything you need to be able to further your opportunity. And look, at the Master Connector Show, we're all about creating community, creating connections. And that's what we want you to do here today. We love for you to interact with us. But look, we got so many great guests coming up. My co-host, Steve, he just is amazing at getting the best people we can find, accomplished people. We're talking authors, speakers, podcast hosts, you name it. These people are successful in their fields. So if you want to find out who's coming up, just go to masterconnector.show, boop, right there, and you can find out who's coming up. But you're going to want to bookmark every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time so you don't miss a single episode of the Master Connector Show. You know, look, Steve and I go back 26 years. We're two former shy guys, not shy anymore, but we are introverts. It's an energy thing. We want you to follow along with us here. We want you to track us as we go through these episodes. We want you to engage with us. We want you to be a part of what we're doing, because all we want to do is help you overcome as we overcome ourselves, the things we have, because we're always overcoming. Our journeys have come a long way, but they still have a ways to go. And I'm looking forward to today's episodes, because so many people talk about gifts. You know, oh, you have a gift, or he has a gift, she has a gift. Do you know your gift? Well, we're going to dig in deep to find out what the deal is with gifts and how you can become the top 2%. But I'm going to bring him on. Help me welcome the Master Connector himself, Mr. Steve Spiro. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Steve?
What's up, Robbie G? And you got a gift. Absolutely. Good stuff. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we are definitely, our friend Hugh would say all the time, right? Overcoming to become, right? It's just what we do, right? And a big part of our show is overcoming obstacles. And I love speaking on stage about breaking barriers and whatever you got to do to overcome those challenges. And so appreciate you. Speaking of incredible people that are on our show, Rob G, the brand builder. I mean, don't sleep on that, Rob. You are amazing, and I appreciate having you on here as a co-host. So, what's going on, friend? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct here, and I am excited. So, as Rob said, if you're checking us out, hopefully for the first or 90th or 100th time, today is 183rd episode. Crazy, but get in the comments. We want to know where you're from, what city, what state, what country. We want you to connect with each other. So get in the comments, connect with each other. This is an opportunity. This is the Connector Show. So go do that. We believe in LinkedIn participants, not LinkedIn lurkers. So if you're watching the show, we're grateful of that, but we don't know you're watching unless you get in the comments and say so. Unlike LinkedIn audio, they have the audio shows. You could see who's on. Here we can't. So go ahead, please. We'd love to know who you're from, and a little bit about you. So get in the comments. But listen, finding the gateway to your gifts starts with focusing on your growth and being intentional about discovering what makes you unique. I love speaking about this on stage because it's not just about realizing your talents. It's about tapping into the potential that sets you apart. The key is to take responsibility for your personal development. We're going to speak a lot about that in the show. We do a lot on that, right? Your personal development journey and investing time and effort in honing those gifts, right? Growth doesn't just happen by chance. You need to create an environment where your strengths can thrive. As you evolve, and Rob was talking about that, right? Your gifts will unfold in ways not only that only benefit you, but also others around you, right? It's again, a big part of our show is being go-giver, being others focused, right? It's all about that, in my opinion, and Rob as well. When you take control of this process, you become the change you want to see, right? They have that. A lot of people have that victim mentality. We believe in mentality, being victorious, right? And just setting an example for others to follow. It's not always an easy path, but the more you push forward, the clearer your gateway becomes. Remember, your gifts are not just they're not just for you. They're meant to serve and uplift others as well. Ultimately, unlocking your potential creates a lasting impact that builds a legacy that goes beyond yourself. And that, in that video, you heard it, Rob talking about that. So if you're ready for my amazing co-host, Rob G, to introduce our next guest, I want you to type in the hashtag Let's Go. And before I have you do that, I just want to acknowledge Connor on the show with us, right? Connor Howland, good to have you on the show here, sir. Great to have you. He's tuning in from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, home of the Steel. Anyway, turn over.
Thanks, Steve. Look, without further ado, let's get right to it. Coach Keith Shaw is a Fortune 500 experienced executive coach, human resources consultant, and certified leadership and DISC behavior style facilitator with 30 years of experience. He is a self-proclaimed ambassador for personal development and is on a mission to help individuals reach their full potential, inspiring them to take control of their destiny and design the life they desire and deserve. Today, Keith will share how he worked his way from a dishwasher, if you can believe it, to a Fortune 500 director, providing a simple roadmap to initiate positive change that will help others become the best version of themselves. Please welcome to the show, Keith Shaw. What's up, Keith?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Excellent. Welcome back to the show, Keith. They're not the list of people that come back to the show. They're short and few and distinct, and you're one of them. So, and again, that's not a knock on anybody, but we really wanted to have you back here. So, blessing to have you on here with us.
I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to be on the show. I really do appreciate it. Love what you guys are doing, and definitely want to be a part of supporting that.
Absolutely. We appreciate that very much so. And it's good to have Yolanda on here with us. So Yolanda tuning in from the great state of Texas as well. I know you're from the Big D, from Dallas, Keith. So I believe Yolanda is, I think she's in Houston. Yolanda, correct me if I'm wrong. I apologize if I'm wrong, but I know she's from Texas as well. And she says, welcome. So let's jump into this right now, right? It's all about taking ownership, taking responsibility. So community, type in hashtag responsibility. And so in your opinion, Keith, why is taking personal responsibility the key to long-term success, especially when it comes to your own development?
Well, thank you. It's a great topic. You see, each and every one of us has something special inside of us. And what I find as I coach people and have coached people over the years, I find that people have not taken the initiative to dig deep to find out what they're passionate about, what they're good at, and what they want to do with their lives. So when you start the journey of personal development, it helps you to find out the things that you want. Now, a lot of us are very quick to say what we don't want, but we haven't taken the time to dig deep inside to find out, what do I want? And so if we take responsibility for working to find out what we like, what we're passionate about, and how we may be able to make a difference in the world, that will help us to identify, what our strengths are so that we can make that positive difference in the world.
Absolutely. Rob, it looks like you had a question. I'm not sure if you did, but.
Not that I have a question, but, as soon as you said personal development, I think for a lot of people, that term, that phrase just washes over them and they go, personal development. I know about that self-help stuff, that motivational guru stuff. And I got to tell you, my journey started with a simple, I was a teenager back at my parents' house, and my oldest brother was getting into sales. And I was in his bedroom, and he happened to have on his nightstand a book said, "See You at the Top" by Zig Ziglar. Right. And if you're in personal development, this is like one of the foundational books, right? Coach Keith is nodding his head. I picked it up. I said, "What's this?" And he goes, "Just read it." that kicked off my journey on self-development. And so, and that never stopped. Once I picked that up, it was like cascading into what else can I learn to be the person I want to be? Because I was not the person designed to win. Do you
Love
find
that.
that's the case, Keith? Do most people think like they can't win, or that they don't know how? What is the mindset there?
Yeah, I think there's just so many distractions and so many things going on that people don't take the time to put the effort in to find out what it takes to be successful. And speaking on Zig Ziglar, now my journey on personal development actually started a little earlier than that, based on some advice from my father, and we can talk about that as well. But speaking of Zig Ziglar's book, I read that book in my mid-20s. There were two takeaways that I took that I applied in my life and that have just sparked and boosted my personal development journey. The first thing was his famous saying or comment that you can get anything you want out of life if you help enough other people get what it is that they want. That phrase is about service. And if you put serving others above all else, it will help you experience more success. It'll help you experience more happiness because of the way you interact with others, and it will improve every relationship that you have. And then the second thing that I took away the book that I've practiced since my 20s, which have boosted my success, is to invest at least 1 hour per day working to improve yourself. And that boosted my journey and has boosted my journey throughout my career, because every day I'm working to learn something new so that I'm better today than I was yesterday.
Wow.
Love that. Yeah. Zig is one of my favorites too. And he one of the phrases I love that he talks about and used to talk about, right? Because he's no longer with us. But he said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And I'm sure that he may not have coined that original phrase, but as the master connector, and as when you're out there connecting, people need to feel your heart, and I love what he would say. He would talk about how, you would, he compliment the checkout person at the supermarket and just make people feel good. And to me, that's an amazing gift that you could just give people joy by just complimenting. So I want to talk about gifts, and this may not be the gift that we're going to touch on here, but community, type in #gifts. So how do you find the gateway to gift, to your unique gifts, and why is it crucial for those aiming to be in that top 2%?
Yeah, so the first thing we've got to do is to find out where we are. The example I like to give is of a GPS system. If you pull out your phone and you punch in a destination, but you're in a high rise downtown or you're in a rural area, your GPS system is not going to know where you are. So it's not going to be able to give you directions to get to where you want to go. The same thing applies to our personal development journey. We need to know where we are. We need to know what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and where we need to improve before we can start the process of creating a plan to help us get to where we want to go. So I would say start with an assessment. We all need to start with an assessment to see where we are. How do we know if we're successful, if we're happy or not, if we don't take the time to assess ourselves and see where we are so that we can determine where do we need to improve? And, I always like to say we need to understand who do we need to become in order to get to where we want to go.
I got something. I got a short story. This is really short, I promise. But at that same time, shortly after being a teenager, I moved out to California, to the Palm Springs area, to go in business with a childhood friend who was living out there. I was 23 at the time. And I remember thinking this after seeing him in action, because he had charisma. He was a natural salesperson, but had charisma in doing it. He made it seem effortless, and he was comfortable around everybody. We were 23. He would talk to people in their 50s and 60s as if he knew them all his life. And I sat there and go, I am clueless. And I was. All I knew was graphic design at the time. And I said, I need to be like that. And he was an example. And I knew one thing, Stephen. You say a self-assessment. Mine was easy. I know nothing. I am losing and I want to win. That was my assessment.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, Rob and I came together through one common connection, and his name was Brian McAlargy, and I want to honor him. I was thinking about him the other day. I think about him a lot. And, I remember I was in the advertising business years back, and I was sent to Ireland with Brian, and he was that, right? I mean, and I think he pushed himself to get to that place, because he was not. I think he was, not necessarily this charismatic, but he became that because of some of the people we started surrounding ourselves with. And I remember him. We're on the, at the airport. And I'm like, "Did you know that guy?" No, I just met him. I'm like, "Wow, that's crazy!" Like, how he was just like this, just magnetic person. So it's pretty cool to see that. But you could develop that, and I know Rob has developed that. I've developed that, and it's just challenging yourself and pushing yourself beyond the limits. And so that's what I want to talk about next, Keith, is on the topic of challenge. So community, type in #challenge. How do you overcome the obstacles that would normally cause people to give up? Like meeting strangers, like 3 strangers every day, like crazy things that I do, or whatever it is, right? It could be anything. And how does that or contribute to that 2% mentality?
Yeah. So, Jim, it reminds me of a statement that Jim Rohn said. Jim Rohn is the individual that Tony Robbins worked for when he was 17, that helped him develop the great concepts he has. But Jim Rohn has this famous saying. He says, "Don't wish that life were easier. Wish that you were better at handling life." And I like to add to that, when you start to work on you, then life is going to get better and easier. So, and the reason I bring that up is that we all have challenges. Everybody has struggles, everybody has successes and failures. And part of succeeding in life is understanding that you're not going to win every battle. And when you do lose, that there's a lesson from that, which helps you improve. So John Maxwell has a book called Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn. And that's because when things don't go the way that you want them to go, then you study that and you learn from it so that you can improve the next time you engage in that activity. So that even when things don't go right, you learn from it, you improve from it. And as a result, you continue to get better. And once you understand that, then that's going to help you to be confident to take on any challenge, because you know that no matter what happens, you're going to get better. You're going to win eventually as a result of that experience. So that's one of the reasons why, we just have to go do things and learn from it. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it.
That's great. I love it. It's interesting, right? So, you could either look at the challenges as, why am I going through it, or understand why you're going through it so you can actually find the value in it, right? I love Napoleon Hill's statement: "In every adversity there lies a seed of equal or greater benefit." And I love that phrase, right? You're either winning or you're learning, right? And but it's all about adapting and changing, right? So we want to dig in on the next piece of this, which is on the topic of change. And some people hate it, some people embrace it, some people just deal with it, right? But let's talk about change. So how can adapting or adopting be the change you want to see, if you will, philosophy propel you towards being the top, in whatever profession you're trying to be in?
Well, the first thing I would say, that change is the one consistent thing that we have in our lives.
That's right.
If you look back through your life has been full of changes throughout your entire life. So human nature is to resist change, but we must accept that it is going to be part of our lives. And the faster that we can get used to it and adjust to it, the better that we're going to be. So I also like to say, when it comes to change, most people want to make a positive difference in the world, so but we tend to do it more outwardly. We tend to want to change the world by changing others. And the truth is, the way to change the world is to start within. My favorite quote is by Gandhi, which is, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And what Gandhi meant was that, if we as individuals change the way we do things, we become the example. People want to emulate us. They see the success and the progress and the impact that we make based on the things that we have done. And because of that change that we make in ourselves, other people follow. And before you know it, you may change your household, your workplace, your city, your state, your country, and maybe even the world.
I gotta say, when you said most people, or human nature, is to resist change. And when you said that, I kind of bristled a little bit, because I think that there's only one thing that I know I had going for me way back when I was, a young adult, my teenage years, was when I realized, when I saw people in action, like this friend and partner of mine, like Brian McElhargy, like Steve was talking about. I knew I wasn't like them. The only thing I knew was this: I can change. So it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'll never be that way. I wasn't born that way. They were born that way. They were born to lead. None of that really factored into my mindset. The only thing I knew was I can change. And I set out to change. And I don't know why that is the case. Maybe you could shed some light on that, Keith, why people won't change, and how do we get them to understand that they can change and improve?
Yeah. I think it's about comfort level. Some people are just comfortable, and it's human nature to be in routines. If you think about it, if you've ever had a time when you were stagnant in your life, where let's say you were working, you go to work, and then you get off work and you drive home and you eat dinner, you watch TV, and you go to sleep. And the next thing you know, a month's passed and you've done those same things. It's because we're animals of habit. We like habits, and it makes us comfortable. And when we change those habits, sometimes that can be a problem. And but different people are different. There are some people who like change, and we could go deeper into behavior styles and things of that nature to talk about the different behavior styles and leadership styles that like change and change quickly, versus behavior styles that like consistency and security and don't like to change. But all of us can change, and it's just a matter of getting comfortable with it, and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because you've seen the simple exercise of, instead of holding your hands the way you normally do, you just move it over one finger, and it's uncomfortable. And so most people don't hold their hands the opposite way, because it's uncomfortable. Not that they can't do it, but it doesn't feel as natural. And it's uncomfortable. So there you go. You see the difference? You don't hold it the other way, because it's just not, it doesn't feel normal, but you can do it. And it's the same with regular change. You can make the change. You just have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Love that. And a lot of that has to do with just, we talk a lot about on the show about habit stacking and creating these habits. And sometimes it's just that breaking that inertia, and then getting consistent with it and making it a day-to-day thing that you just do. So we want to talk about consistency here on that topic. So community, type in hashtag consistency. So what role does consistency play in ensuring you reach the level of a top performer, and how do you maintain it over time?
Yeah, consistency is super, super important. If you are doing some positive things one day, it's just like going to the gym. You hit the gym one day and you lift the weights. You might be sore, but you're not going to make any lasting change. The same for personal development. I mentioned earlier what I learned from Zig Ziglar: 1 hour a day. I do at least 1 hour a day. And if you look at that, just imagine if you had a cup of water and you poured just a little bit in every day, and you will see the growth of the content of the water in the cup as a result of that. That's what consistency does. So it's going to add up. And the key is, the more you pour into yourself, the more consistent you are about doing things to help you become the best version of yourself, the better your capabilities will be, the higher your value will be, the more your contribution will be, and the more impact that you will have on your world.
I love that. Hopefully the echo is not back here, Rob. Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, amazing. And it's like, I am one of those habit people. I like, consistency. I like it. And I know Yolanda had put in the comments, I want to acknowledge her real quick here. She's like, if we have negative experiences, we would change in the past, it can make us even more resistant to future change. And she also writes, our brain is wired to resist change. And it's true. And I like that consistency, but I also like, I have a striving to grow and become. And so, and it wraps up with my why, and why I'm doing what I do, which is to make that impact and travel the world and and be inspiration and speak and inspire and be a beacon of light as I travel the world and get paid for that. So I'd love to know, Keith, what drives you, what motivates you as we wrap the show up? What is your why? So community, type in #why. I'd love to know, what that is, that why is for you, Keith.
Yeah, my first why is my family. I have a lovely wife and 4 beautiful daughters. They are my why. They are why I do everything. And so that's my first why. My purpose is to help individuals and organizations reach their full potential. So together we can make a positive difference in the lives of others. And that's kind of my own personal mission statement. I believe I'm on this earth to make a positive difference and to help others, live better lives. So it fulfills me to help others succeed. And we didn't get a chance to talk about my story. I grew up in a low income, high crime, low expectations community. And the fact, I had people pour into me and look after me and help me make positive gains. And, I want to give back and I want to help others do the same. And I want people to see that you can achieve whatever you want to. And your personal development is your responsibility. Don't wait for someone else. You should be working to become the best version of yourselves. And if you do, you will be able to achieve things that you don't understand today. I have to achieve things in my life that I never would have dreamed that I could have achieved when I was a young individual. So anything's possible with personal development. I believe success is inevitable, and personal development will help to achieve that.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning personal responsibility. I don't think we hear enough about that. And we know that people like to blame circumstances, blame other people for their lack of the success that they feel like they deserve. And, there's a little bit of a paradox there. When you blame others, right? You don't rise any higher. You don't get better. You don't improve your circumstances. And nobody really wants to hear it anyway. But when you do take that personal responsibility, you take the power to be able to rise higher, to get out of your circumstances or further your success level, no matter what it is. And I think people don't understand that, Keith. Is like when you take personal responsibility, people are like, "Oh, I don't take responsibility." No, take it and own it and use it to propel yourself, because that's the only kind of control you have by taking responsibility. Don't you feel?
Love that.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Well, we're getting right to the bottom of the hour. Keith, we're going to wrap up shortly, and I know you have an offer that you want to give, but closing comments, and then Rob is going to talk about your offer.
Yeah. I just, first of all, thank you for giving me an opportunity to be here. A couple things I want to make sure people know. If there's one thing that you take from this when it comes to personal development, assess where you are. If you don't have the ability to assess where you are, the number one skill that you can upgrade and improve when it comes to personal development is communication skills, because 85% of career success is based on interpersonal skills. And we all need communication, whether we're a leader, whether we're an individual contributor, whether we're just talking about getting along with our family. If you can improve your communication skills, you can reduce the amount of conflict as a result of poor communication, which will improve the quality of your life. So focus on improving your communication skills if you take one thing away. So that's the one thing I want to mention. And then should I talk about that offer now?
Yeah. So just real quick, everybody, listen, if you're in our audience and if you're watching this on replay, we not only want to bring you amazing guests who share their experience and their skills, but we want to be able to add value to you. So we always ask for be able to our guests to have an offer, some kind of giveaway, an additional little bonus, little strawberry on the sundae for you. And Keith's going to tell us about the offer he has for you today. Okay, Keith.
All right. So today's focus is on personal development. I believe that each and every one of us should have a personal development plan. So here's what I'm doing today. For individuals who are interested, you can get access to a mini course which gives you guidelines for creating your own personal development plan. So everybody's going to get that. Also, the first 20 people who sign up for that, they're also going to get a complimentary Rapid Success Strategy Call. In that call, we're going to talk about what you want. We're going to help you get clear about what you want. We're going to help you put together a short plan on how to accomplish that. So the first 20 will get a one-on-one call with me, and everyone else, and those 20 will also get access to that course. So I want to help you reach your full potential and achieve a goal or two. So that's my offer.
Awesome. Thank you, Keith.
Love that. And
they put that in the comments. The link is in there. So click that link and, get that course, and hopefully you'll be the recipient of that success strategy call. Look, you get on a 30-minute call with a guy like Keith, I can't imagine you're not going to become better almost immediately. Thank you. Thank you.
No doubt. No doubt. And as we wrap up here, what's the best way for people to reach?
Yeah, so you can see my website at www.coachkeithshawspeaks, or you can send me an email at coachkeith@coachkeithshaw.com. Those are the best ways to reach me.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you. We're going to have you go into the green room. Hopefully we'll chat a few minutes afterwards. Rob, I'm just going to close things up down as we get a little towards the tail end of the show. So again, thank you, community, for just being incredible. We are here for you. Next week, the 16th, we'll be back with episode 184 with Namit Jindal. I'm hoping I'm saying it right. Namit, forgive me if I'm not mispronouncing, but growing you in your business. It's going to be a great show. And, each week is just incredible. And if you're interested in learning about some of the upcoming episodes, Rob G has now officially got us up to speed all the way into March, I believe. So of 2025, we are booked all the way into July of 25, but we're working on that still. But go to the masterconnector.show. And then if you're interested in sponsoring an episode, which is very inexpensive, affordable, go to the masterconnector.show website. But I want to just close with this, right? Katherine Johnson, the brilliant mathematician who helped NASA put a man on the moon, discovered her gift for numbers at a young age. I saw the movie. She was a big part of the movie. Despite facing racial and gender barriers, she believed in her abilities and pursued a career in mathematics, ultimately becoming indispensable figure in space exploration. Her story reminds us that when we embrace and develop our unique talents, we not only change our own lives, but also inspire others to push boundaries and reach for greatness. Remember to always be truly, truly who you are and always shine your light. See you next week. Appreciate it.
And you start to hear some of their challenges. And yes,
because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives you.